Anyways, sorry, I'm
No,
off
no.
track.
I know.
No, that's okay. That's
It's,
okay.
well, it's because it's a part of our lives,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, anyway. Okay. Man, this is so good. Are you having? I'm having so much fun. I
Yeah,
hope you're like, okay.
Yeah, talking about myself, I am just.
No, that's what I want you to do.
No, no.
Talk about it.
Just really a heart of gold.
I mean, she's tough, but she has a heart of gold.
I'm a problem solver and I have a heart of gold.
Thank you, James.
See, ladies, a heart of gold.
But I know you have a heart of gold and have done many good deeds.
You've been most helpful.
Yeah, that's me. Heart of gold.
You have a heart of gold.
18 karat.
Hello and welcome to the Hearts of Gold podcast. I am so excited for today's guest because today we have Cedric Lee, who is here from Chico Unified School District. And I'm just going to read a quick bio about him. Cedric is a technology teacher in the Chico Unified School District, and you took a non-linear path into education after multiple careers. So I want to hear about all of that as we get into the conversation. And drawing on your own experience as a self-described misfit, you focus on creativity, trust, and helping students on the margins discover their strengths. I am so excited that you said yes to this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And you're you are the technology connoisseur, yes, of the region, I would say.
Well, I dabble with some technology here and there.
Yeah.
And AI is a big part of what I'm researching at the moment.
Yeah. I first learned about Cedric at our Rotary Club meeting. I had a club member mentioned your name. I wasn't there on that day that you spoke, and Sheila was like, you need to reach out to him and have him on your podcast. I was like, okay. So anyway, and I'm super interested in AI conversations as well, and how to, I don't know, what angle you're coming from and all of that. So, but before we get into all of that, we're going to start, I like to start here with kind of your golden beginnings, if you will. So this is life before Butte County. So did you have a life before Butte County? Did you grow up here? Tell us about your beginnings.
Yeah, golden beginnings. I'm not quite sure that captures my misfit background or my misfit identity, but essentially I was born in Los Angeles, grew up in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I grew up not speaking English.
Really?
My grandparents raised me, and I knew Korean. So from the very beginning of my education, I felt like a misfit, right? Going to kindergarten and not being able to really speak English.
Wow.
And just, all that sort of, what's appropriate of calling foreigners aliens, right? I felt like an alien to an extent.
And not knowing the language that all your peers are speaking.
Yeah. And, I had a traumatic childhood. I won't go into all the details, but essentially that set the stage for my educational background or my education and why I got into teaching.
Yeah.
And so I struggled with a lot of trauma and shame and just a difficult time concentrating. And given that I'm almost 54, there was no such things there was no diagnosis of ADHD or that sort of diagnosis would have probably helped in some of that treatment, but that was also what made me quite a bit of a misfit, right? In school.
So you're going to school, being raised by your grandparents, not knowing the language, and having trouble concentrating in classes.
Right. A lot of things stacked up against me. Right.
That's like, oh my gosh. But plus you have this kind of just from reading your bio, but like a creative mind.
Yeah.
That's also, super drawn to like the tech side and analytical. I don't know, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah. So I consider myself a divergent mind. Some would diagnose it as neurodivergent.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big buzzword these days, but yeah, I think that was that whole non-linear type of mindset, and that whole saying, "Stay within the lines."
Oh,
The
yeah.
lines are your friends, but the lines were never really my friends. Growing up.
Yeah.
I was constantly trying to see what was outside of the box,
Hmm.
and that didn't quite fit into the standardized, lesson plans or lessons or the way
Yeah.
school was structured.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult time for me as a child to adjust to school. I was
Wow.
often bored, and
Yeah.
it was difficult to concentrate.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gosh, thinking about that, even just like the boredom,
Mhm.
like I don't know a ton about ADHD and diagnosis, but
Mhm.
there's, um, with it being more studied now, I
Yeah.
think, and more diagnosis being made and more treatment
Mhm.
plans available,
Mhm.
for kids, just awareness. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating to hear different stories about
Mhm.
how people just were able to function or
Right.
uh, even excel.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Yeah, no, so, this story isn't just a story about myself. I don't want it to be about my diagnosis
Sure.
or just, that's where the pivot is, where
Mm.
why I became a teacher.
Yeah.
And it's that I know that other students are struggling with these types of issues. And
Yeah.
so I think that gives me a unique perspective when I become,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
enter a classroom, is knowing that even though some of the students may be misbehaving,
Mm.
there's probably reasons behind that misbehavior, and so that helps me be a little bit more sensitive.
Oh, yeah. A lot more, I'm
yeah,
sure. Like,
yeah, right. A little more
wow.
empathetic, a little more
Yeah.
compassionate, and so that's I think that's, and given that I'm non-linear, I think that helps with like the creative types.
Mm-hmm.
My big focus is stop motion animation, so the
Yeah.
kids love it. They
So
come
cool.
alive, and just to see them create things on their own and not
Yeah.
just have the teacher tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That really just that's the heart of gold, is being able to see the light come on for the kids to
Yeah.
become creative and really be original in who they are.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So pausing, rewind for just a
Mhm.
sec. So you're at Chico Unified. Are
Mhm.
you at a specific school or are you through?
Yeah.
How-
So I was at Parkview Elementary for about 4 years.
Okay.
It's a STEM school.
Okay.
And at this year, I'm at Sierra View, which is
Okay.
just right next door. I was due to rove and to different elementary school this
Mhm.
year, but that changed a little bit. It's difficult to coordinate with all the
Mm.
elementary schools, so that may still be in the works. But
Okay.
yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing.
That's so cool. So with the stop motion, what grade level?
Yeah,
What age
so
is that?
I go. I teach first through fifth grade.
Oh
And
my
so,
God.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
all of it.
Yeah,
All
no,
of
it's
elementary
right.
grades.
It's shocking what first graders can do if
Yeah.
given the right. I'm going to use some educanese here.
Yeah.
Scaffolding.
Yeah.
Giving them the right directions in terms of how to be creative, and
Mhm.
once they latch on, it's really really fun to watch them take
Yeah.
off with it.
So cool. Well, so how then? I mean, you said grew up in LA. How did you get here
Yeah,
to this
so
region?
my wife grew up in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, we were living in Southern California, but her father got diagnosed with a disease that was
Mm.
rapidly deteriorating his health.
Oh,
And so we thought, if there was an
Yeah.
emergency, we really couldn't be on the road for
Yeah.
8 hours driving to try to be with family.
right.
So we researched the area, and we thought,
Mhm.
okay, how close can we be to Sacramento and still,
Yeah.
be
Be
in
a little
location?
different or
Yeah,
distance somewhat.
some sort of distance, right?
Mhm.
So we researched Chico, and because we wanted to be in a college town,
Yeah.
and we had small children at the time. They were 5 and 3, and
Okay.
we heard that it's really conducive to building small families, or building families that
Yeah,
are
sure.
young. And given that how how long it takes to get through traffic in
Oh.
LA. We thought 10 minutes anywhere to get to, events and
Which we
and
still
activities.
will still complain. You'll hear
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
there's so much traffic.
I
It took me
know.
12 minutes
I
to
find
get
that-
here."
I find that amusing, but I don't mean to. No.
That's funny.
No.
Oh, I love that. Oh, so okay, so came up to this area, and you've been here then.
It's almost 8. It's been 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, and that's neat because she's had that connection kind of to this northern
Yeah.
California,
Northern California,
for a while. Then, if she was
so
born
she
and raised.
came up here playing softball games
Okay.
and soccer games. So yeah, she was familiar with Chico, and
Love
that's
that.
why we gravitated towards this direction.
I love that. Well, so thinking about, since you've been up here in this area, I like to kind of ask if you have like a hidden gem. If there's anything, and maybe feel free to share or keep or not share if you don't want everyone knowing, but a hidden gem that you wouldn't mind sharing, whether that's a place, an organization, something that
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't mean to be awkward here, and
we love awkward.
Aaron
It's
didn't
great.
put me up to this, but I thought, why not talk about your photography
Oh my gosh.
business, right? Aaron Lackey, photography. What is it?
Photography.
916. Make that call now.
Yes.
916.
Hey, you
what was
got
it?
the area code. I know. It's a
What's that
916 area code because it's a Google number.
Yeah, and the phone
So,
number is
415-8667.
There you go.
Hey, that's what I can't say do that
and
anymore.
trust me, she did not put me up to this, but I know how hard it is to run a small business. I inherited one, and
Oh my
yeah, so I've
gosh.
done everything, anything and everything under the
Yes.
sun. I've done as a career.
Yeah.
And so I know how hard it is to launch a small business.
Oh,
And so,
thank
yeah,
you.
anything that can help, bring up that business would be,
Ugh,
as is why.
yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, that's a perfect segue because
Yeah.
our next segment is kind of the business nugget. So you said, feel free to share.
Yeah.
You said you inherited a small business.
Right.
Really, it's kind of what is really the segment is like, what's your elevator pitch? What do you do? But I would love to
Yeah.
hear a little bit more about, going back to your bio,
Mhm.
all those, you said you had many different,
Yes,
Uh,
many different.
yes, experiences and
Yeah.
all sorts of things. So multiple careers.
Yes. Well, I really didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And, given that I grew up in a traumatic home, there was lots of shame. So just trying to work through all that shame and see who I really was inside, it was difficult to really understand what was my motivation, what was my reason, the
Yeah.
whys.
Yeah.
So I set about life trying to figure it out. So, I went to, I got into product management at
Okay.
Belkin, which is a computer
Oh
component.
my gosh, Belkin. I haven't heard
Yeah,
that name
yeah,
in a
right.
long time.
So I did that for a couple of years, and I'm like,
Oh.
maybe it's the sciences. No, not quite. Or business. No, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
So then I got into pulmonary research at UCLA Medical School.
What? You went to UCLA Medical
Yeah,
School?
no, I was
Or did-
working there,
Oh,
doing the
working there.
research.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I was doing research.
Still.
Yeah, so somehow these doors would open up for me, and
Wow.
and so I did that for a couple of years. And again, the doctors had asked me, "Do you want to become a doctor?" And I thought, no, not really. So I had to just
No.
go through the checklist of things of
Yeah.
what I really wanted to do, and
Mm.
that was not it.
It's a bit of a commitment.
And so I'm not going to go into everything I've done, but I've gotten myself into a lot of different places, and all those things have tied back into my teaching, which is so all those things have pointed me back to why I'm doing what I'm doing now, which
Yeah.
is really helping students to understand like who they are, and that you don't always have to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
That we live in a country that has so many opportunities.
Mhm.
You can fail, you can struggle, you
my
can
gosh,
do all
yeah.
these things and still pivot, right?
Yeah.
You don't there's not one defining event in our lives that will write the script for the rest of our lives. We can start over.
Yeah.
And wherever we are. And so that's my message to my students. And so,
Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps because I'm thinking like, even, when because that's the big question
Mm-hmm.
that even I find myself asking my own kids is, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? What are you working towards? And I was asked that, and for a long time, I had said teacher because that's what was modeled. I was in school, I saw a teacher, like I wanted to be a teacher.
Right.
Anyway, and it's just, oh, well, this is the track. Like you graduate, you go to school, you graduate, you
Right.
go to college,
Right.
then you go to more college. It's
Sure,
like
sure.
there's a certain
Right.
track.
It's a linear track.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't quite fit nonlinear thinkers like myself.
Mm.
And, I just backing up a bit, when
Yeah.
I was 15, I decided to take the GED and I passed.
Oh my
And
gosh.
but I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. I thought
So you were in
I
school
thought I was,
and you took it?
Yeah,
and
I
you
thought
just-
I thought I was outsmarting the system, and really it came back to bite me because I thought, okay, what's the point of going to high school? It's to get a diploma, so I'll get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I got my diploma, and I decided I'm just going to socialize in high school and play football.
Because you already got.
Right, I got
you
what
already
I.
had the thing.
The
Okay.
goal was to get
Yeah.
a diploma, so I have it.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that sort of boredom with not being, applying myself to academics, I got into a lot of trouble, right, with alcohol, drugs, and so, in fact, my junior year, I had like 3 Fs and 2 Ds. And
Oh,
So it all
wow.
came back to bite me, really.
Hmm.
And so, why I share that is that that's the other why. Why am I teaching? It's
Yeah.
because those students that are bored or struggling with, drugs or whatever it is that they're struggling with. Again, that's not the defining moment of their lives. That they can pivot, right?
Yeah.
And so even after high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Everyone's supposed to
Yeah.
have the right answers.
I know.
Go to college. I didn't do that.
So much pressure.
Yeah, so I joined an NGO and I traveled the world for about 6 years.
Should I put us in NGO?
NGO. So
Yeah.
like what their claim to fame was mercy ships. So they'd
Okay.
pull into like ports in Africa.
Okay.
There would be surgeons and dentists, and so
Oh,
they'd
okay.
offer free medical services.
Gotcha.
I was more in the arm of like alcohol and drug rehab.
Okay.
I was studying under a doctor who specializes in addictions.
Wow. Okay.
So I actually thought that would be the rest of my life.
Wow.
I was due to be a program director for rehab in Switzerland, but yeah.
My gosh.
Right. So, but,
yeah.
it didn't
you
work out.
warned us. You were like,
Yeah,
I
there
have
were
a
lots
lot
of
yeah.
curveballs in life, and so it was a swing and a miss,
Yeah.
and that's when I came back to the States. But again, like it's all these things that knowing that I needed to give back what I learned about myself, and knowing that other students have struggled in similar ways that I have.
Yeah.
And so again, teaching all made sense to me. right?
Yeah.
So that's why I made that pivot, right?
Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, we're already kind of there,
Mhm.
but we go into kind of mining of the heart of,
Mhm.
and I would just love you to spend more time there if you're willing, but
Sure.
why choosing this work? Like, I mean, ultimately teaching, and what I'm hearing you say is you had all of this experience and all of these opportunities, and it all kept pointing back to
Mhm.
teaching.
Right.
And so why now? I mean, or even spend more time on your why.
Yeah. So I do want to clarify though that I still, recovery from addictions is not a one-time thing. It's not a cure. And so I learned that quickly getting into teaching is that I'm not perfect, and that's another, I think, important lesson to students and to other teachers is that we don't have to have it all together. But I think that students appreciate authenticity, transparency. And so there was so many other things that needed to be resolved as I became a teacher. Was even though I had maybe the right motivation, there were still things that from my traumatic childhood that I would face as I was trying to be compassionate with other students
Right.
that
Yeah.
were struggling with trauma. And
Yeah.
in fact, the campfire,
Um.
I was teaching at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
just the brokenheartedness of seeing some of my students. In fact, a couple of my students had lost two homes.
Oh my gosh.
One in the
Yeah.
campfire, the other in bear fire, and
Wow.
I just that all that's was just a little too much.
Yeah.
And that helped me also with that journey of giving back, knowing that I had to continue to work on myself,
Mm.
and I still do.
Yeah.
That it's not just now that I've got it all figured out, I'm
Now I
gonna
can
give it
help
to the
people.
teachers, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's this interesting journey of life, right? That
Yeah.
I'm working with my students, not for them, but with them.
I love that. Well, and even like that, it's like a growth mindset in a way of like we're constantly growing
Mhm.
and evolving and learning. I mean, because we're human and
Right.
we're alive
Right.
and our brains are
Right.
constantly processing more information.
Mhm.
I think too, I mean, I so appreciate what you're saying about even like when you're trying to help or teach or just work with a student
Mhm.
and their trauma or their situation was affecting you in a way
Mhm.
that was like, oh, I might need to do some more
Yeah.
work in this area,
Right.
in order to be able
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
them.
And again, that's a great lesson for myself, but again to my students, like
Mm.
we're never gonna figure it all out, right?
Mhm.
It's a lifelong journey, and so I think that's crucial. That I think as a society we often want to have all the answers and have it all figured out.
Yeah.
The 5-year plan, and
Yeah.
all that. And
I'm like
life
doing
has
that right now. in
life has too
business.
many life has too many curveballs, right? And we
Yeah.
strike out, and so
Yeah.
occasionally we might have a home run, but that's
Yeah.
often far and few between, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that I with teaching that I've found is that I'm starting to get into research with neurodivergent students
Yeah.
related
Oh,
to
okay.
AI. And
Oh, tell me more about that.
No, it's so it's all this, like I said, these puzzle pieces that are all fitting in. The research I did at
Mhm.
UCLA. Oh, so now I can, with those same skill sets, I can now,
Yeah.
use with, doing research on neurodivergent students,
Mm-hmm.
their trust issues related to AI, and so
Yeah.
it's been fascinating to be a part of this international study. In fact, I
Okay.
had an associate dean from England reach out to me on LinkedIn, of all
Oh my
places,
gosh.
and asked me if I would be interested in doing this international study. And I thought, sure, why not? And
This
so,
is amazing. Like the opportunities. How did that, I
Yeah.
mean, how did they even,
yeah,
like, side note, like is it through LinkedIn or through just like your work, something else that you did?
yeah.
or?
So I was found through LinkedIn.
Okay.
And it was because I was engaging with thought leaders in
Gotcha.
AI.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was having those dialogues, others can see in on
Yeah.
those dialogues, and
Yeah.
I think they also can see my profile in terms of what I'd done in the past.
The
And so-
500 things they've done in that. No, I
Right,
love
so-
it.
So yeah, that's and so that's how it all started
Yeah.
to develop, and
Yeah.
it's been exciting just to see like how small the world is
Yeah.
with the internet and with social media,
Mhm.
and so that's all coming together, and it's really fun. Right.
That's well, I'm thinking back to, sorry, my brain, this is where my brain went, thinking of like the linear path of, you do this thing, and you're the expected path. But then all of your not little, but just the different experiences and paths that you have taken, now that they're all coming back
Mm.
to what you're doing now,
Mhm.
I find in myself sometimes when I'm working with a certain organization or I'm doing a certain project or whatever, and I'm like, what am I doing this for? Like, this isn't really helping serve me right now. Like, what's the point of this? Like, I've especially it would be easy for me because I think I was sharing with you beforehand. I did X-ray for
Right.
15 years,
Right.
and now with the photography business, I'm going, man, was that 15 years a waste of like? Was I just, I was helping people, I was helping patients, but now as I'm in business, I'm like, oh, there were certain systems in place and certain way that I worked in this area that I can now use.
Absolutely. Right.
What I'm doing now. So I'm hearing you say that. See, I'm getting goosebumps again because I'm like, a roundabout way of saying all of those different experiences in your life have actually enriched you and made you able to and created these opportunities that you're in right now.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So many instances I thought I failed, right?
Mm.
And I think that's something that I learned from the tech industry as well, is that many of the tech leaders want you to fail, because that's where we learn the most lessons. And I think that if we have that, like you said, growth mindset, wanting to learn from our mistakes, or maybe they weren't mistakes, maybe it was just an exploration period that we need to define ourselves. And the skill sets that we learn along the way. All those things are so crucial in terms of having the right mindset to, utilize that wherever you're at. Life is so mysterious in so many ways, but if we have, the right mindset, I think we can, pretty much tackle whatever situation we're in, right?
Yeah. Well, and even thinking of you as a teacher, gosh, man, my neurons are just going, talk about this, talk about this. Gosh, slow the roll, Aaron. Okay. Well, thinking like you as a teacher, and even with students, I mean, I grew up talking about failure. I grew up thinking that failure was bad. Failure meant I'm a bad person, or I failed.
Right.
I'm a horrible person because this thing.
Or that's your label. You're a failure.
Yes.
Right.
Or you can't fail because that's what you don't want to do. Because if you try this thing and you mess up, then that's it. Like, and so thinking of you as a teacher, I imagine your classroom. I mean, just hearing you talk is you're making this space. You're creating this space for students to fail.
Yes, right.
In
I encourage
safe
it.
place.
I do encourage it. And I call it techno stress, because you see these first graders having meltdowns like, oh, no, Mr. Lee, I can't do this.
Techno stress? That's awesome.
I can't do this. And, it's those are crucial moments of teaching them to take a deep breath. And in fact, I have this Tai Chi move where I get the students to all stand up, and I try to make my lessons fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I relate to their age group and have them do these Tai Chi moves and take a deep breath, start over.
Yes.
And that, I don't think they often hear that encouraged to fail, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they, I think, are confused at first, but then they really believe me that I'm like, no, that's not a failure. That's a lesson to learn from.
Yes.
And that encourages them to try to be even more creative. Right?
Yes.
And that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Is that their creativity has no bounds, or should not have any bounds. And so that's, I think, key to at least my teaching style is giving them that freedom, right?
To do that. And when they're trying, because I see all the memes and everything on Instagram, right? It's like, it's better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all.
Right.
Or maybe it's love. Maybe it's better to have loved and lost. Anyway, I'm changing it.
Yes. Right.
But like, if you try and you fail, congratulations, because you did something.
Right. Absolutely.
You took action.
Right. And then it's not the end of the world, because so often we're told, we're not supposed to fail. And so, we think that may be the end of it. And no, I'm saying that's the beginning, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of exploring what we may be good at, what we may not be good at.
What you like, what you're interested in.
Right, absolutely.
Maybe you find out you're interested in 20 things, or like this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this.
Right. And, I'm thinking back on Mitch Resnick, who is in charge of the MIT lab.
Oh.
And he encourages elementary school students to become creative thinkers.
Mm.
And all the more reason to be in the age of AI. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
for the last decade or the last few decades, it's been programmers,
Mhm.
those that were linear, that were being rewarded,
Mhm.
those who could think in black and white terms.
Yeah.
And the whole script has been flipped.
Yeah.
Now AI has completely revolutionized that.
Mhm.
And who's being rewarded are those that are creative thinkers.
Mm.
And, you know, there's some debate about that,
Mhm.
but there's a huge, there's so much room for those that are creative thinkers to use AI in such productive ways.
Well, so if we could spend a little time there,
Sure.
and then before we head to our ad break,
Yeah.
which is coming up.
Right.
But I would love to spend more time there, because AI is definitely one of those things that's very controversial, right? I feel
Absolutely.
like it could
Yes.
be, which we're not a
Right.
controversial podcast,
Right.
but it's definitely,
Yes,
it's here.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
I mean, as a photographer,
Yeah.
it's one of the things too, where it's like, you know, at least for me, I think of it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like Photoshop
Mm-hmm.
is a tool
Mm-hmm.
to enhance the photos that I create.
Sure.
I don't want to manipulate in a way that it's not
Mm-hmm.
the person.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's just, I'm thinking, at least from my industry, looking at it as a tool and then a way to help just the business flow and all the back end things
Right.
and automations and things like that is really helpful.
Mhm.
But you're coming at it from, I mean, I would love to hear
Yeah,
more about
So, you know,
from
I'm
your
not
area.
a evangelist in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that I think that everything's good about AI, and there needs to be guardrails.
Mm.
I can understand why there are those that are outraged by it,
Mm.
and in fact many parts of AI are outrageous.
Mm.
So I don't look at it, like you said, it's a tool. And like anything, like the internet and social media, there are horrible and ugly things about it, but there's also things that we could glean from it.
Mm.
And I think in education especially, where many educators and institutions are petrified
Mm. Mhm.
because students are using it to quote unquote cheat.
Sure.
And the reality is all those high school students have access to it outside of their homes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if they're using it for their homework, yes, you know,
Mhm.
most likely they are.
Yeah.
I think the key is really becoming a little more critical on how we assess intelligence or assess, you know, students' abilities.
Mm.
So I feel like there should be a paradigm shift in how we assess students. It's not necessarily how do we block AI,
Right.
because I think at this point the genie's out of the bottle. You can't
Yeah.
put it back in. It's
Yeah.
now a matter of how do we assess the students and their abilities
Mm.
to use AI,
Yeah.
perhaps, you know, and
Yeah.
so again, that's also controversial.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of what's the pragmatic way to
Yeah.
approach this versus how do we stop it altogether?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of
Yeah.
even just like the prompts,
Yeah.
because James will sometimes
Yeah.
he's like, well, can you just look it up? And so I Google something
Yeah.
and I get something. I was like, I couldn't find the answer. And he's like, well, you have to ask it in this way. Like,
Mhm.
what are you putting in to get the result
Sure.
that you want? Or,
Sure.
you know, the information that
Sure.
he's like, you can't just Google one word. I'm like,
Right.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, you know,
know?
the art of asking the right questions, it's so
Yeah.
crucial now. And,
So I was
and
thinking,
yeah.
like, does that tie into, I mean, as you think of the creative aspect, creative brain, like I don't know, like a coding, because you
Mhm.
mentioned coding
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
Because would you say, are we now, I mean, I don't know, because I didn't know code.
Yeah.
So but like there's a certain way in which now we're all coders
Yeah.
with words, with these,
Sure.
what is it? large language model. What is the word? The
Yeah,
correct term?
right.
Large language model.
LLMs, right?
Hey, I know some stuff.
Right. Yeah. So
know?
it's a fascinating place to be in this world at this moment
Mhm.
because you have cloud code, and
Mhm.
I mean, I was able to code an entire video game just a couple weeks ago.
That's so wild.
Yeah, and what do I mean by I was able to code it? I didn't do any coding.
You're
In
right.
fact, I just described the
Yeah.
video game I wanted, and again, it was tied into my AI research and for neurodivergent minds.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what I may be talking about now about AI may not be true in 3 months or 6 months from now. It's just transforming so rapidly
Yeah.
that whatever I say now may not apply tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's so hard to discuss
I know.
because
It's
there are no absolutes at this point
Right.
in terms of what AI is or what
Right.
will be.
Mhm.
But I do know that in terms of junior programmers, those that even are coming out of Stanford with PhDs in computer science, some of them are having difficulty finding jobs, and that's how quickly it's pivoted.
Yeah.
To, but there's still room for programmers. It almost seems like people are saying no, don't go into that at all, or that it's not useful. But there are those that are experienced are able to debug
Sure.
coding from AI because AI
Yeah.
is not perfect,
Right.
at least not yet.
Yeah.
Right. And so right. And so I don't want to get into too much
Yes.
technicality here.
Yes.
I don't-
Well, in your classroom then, and
Yeah.
then again, we are going to take a break soon.
Yeah.
But in your classroom, as we kind of close out this segment, but
Mhm.
how do you end up using it, or do you use that in your class? I mean,
Yeah,
with
no,
stop
so-
motion, anything with the
Right.
creative?
So Chico Unified, along with many districts, have guardrails with AI, rightfully so. So I don't use AI. However, I do inform them of that AI is not really their friend. AI is, the motivation is often profit. And so, the goal is to keep a child or a person continually using AI.
That's the
So
business's goal, whether
right.
that's
So that's
just
can
like
be-
social media
right,
apps and
right,
things.
absolutely. So if a child says, I'm really sad, I'm really depressed, instead of the AI saying, well, maybe you need to go get help. Maybe tell your
Talk to
teacher,
a human.
or talk to your parents or guardians or whoever it is. They'll just continue to say, "Oh, tell me more. Oh, I can see why your life is so sad."
Yeah, it's very affirming.
Yeah, right.
It's very-
affirming, right. And so, that should be, something that we guard
Yeah.
our students against, right? And so
That loop, that
right.
perpetual, we talk about it like the echo chamber loop of like,
Yeah.
I'm just talking to myself and
Right.
telling
Right.
myself what I want to
Mhm.
hear.
I had a student ask me, well, if AI is not my friend, then how do I make friends? I thought, oh dear,
Yeah.
So, I won't go into all the details
Yeah.
of the student's story, but
But these are questions you're getting.
Right. I had to address that question.
Yeah.
And in fact, I encouraged the other members in the class or the students in the class. What is it? What is it that is preventing all of you from reaching out to one another?
Wow.
And what is it? What's the barriers? Is it
Yeah.
economics that this kid's poor or this? You came from a rich family. Is it because they speak another language? What is the barrier from to make that connection, whether it's social media? And so, that's a great teaching moment.
What a great question to
right?
ask your class. I'm like, can you come and talk to my kids? Wow.
That's what helps me be transparent is knowing what I struggled with.
I was just gonna,
And so to be authentic, to be transparent with students, they love that. You know? Just to give them that platform, just even discuss it. And I'd like to say that students really thriving. That's not because of what I said, but how the other
Mhm.
students responded
Mm.
to that student's question.
Mm-hmm.
That it just really
Yeah.
fostered this nurturing in that classroom, and that was exciting to see.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking too, I think there's an element of like vulnerability too. I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you ever
Yeah.
listen to Brene Brown?
Right,
Or
yeah,
anything?
right.
You know, like that
Yes,
question is a
sure.
vulnerable question. Like,
Right.
how do I make friends?
Yes,
That
yes.
took so much courage for that student to be
Right,
like, I'm
right.
imagining like a first or second grader,
Sure.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you know?
And I'm sure there are plenty of adults that want to ask that
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
right? And yet it's often not allowed to
Mm-hmm.
to be. We're not allowed to be as vulnerable,
Right.
and so yeah,
Or not, it's not as well received, I'm sure,
right,
too. It's seen
sure.
as weakness or
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
But,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay, we are going to take a break
Right.
to hear a word
Right.
from our sponsors.
right.
And then we're going to come back and hear some more about with this wonderful conversation with Cedric Lee. So see you in a minute. This episode is brought to you by Aaron Lackey Photography. That's me. I'm the photographer. This is my studio. We have a studio here in downtown Orville, and I love photographing families, high school seniors, and pets. And you know what is right around the corner? The holidays. You're going to want to have somebody document those memories for you. Do you have a kid who's missing their front teeth? Now's the time to get them in for a portrait session. Do you have maybe a tween who is gawky and awkward? That phase doesn't last that long. You're going to want to have them in to have that documented. Even though they may not want to, you're going to want to. What about a high school senior who's getting ready to graduate in 2026? You're going to want to have them come in and we can have a consultation and we can talk about all the amazing things that we can do for your high school senior to make their year the best. Maybe you have a family and you haven't had portraits for, 5-10 years, maybe never. I have clients that have never had a family portrait. Come, let's talk. Let's have a conversation and we can plan where these portraits will live in your home. Last thing, if you are a business owner, maybe you're a professional. Maybe you haven't had a business portrait or a headshot or some branding images for a while. Let's talk. We can make that happen for you so you have amazing portraits to put online for your social media, all of those things. I can't wait to talk to you and we can have a conversation and see what that will look like. Ultimately, it was hard to get me on this podcast. I was very busy. This is a busy time of year. And so, they're lucky that I said yes to come on and be an advertising business. There's other businesses that really wanted this spot, but I took it from them. So maybe you'll be the next one to advertise here. Okay, back to the episode. And we're back. And we're heading into our next segment. This is called the Gold Rush Round.
Mm-hmm.
And so how this works is I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. I'm going to say best blank.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your opportunity to give some shout outs of some local places or spots or organizations. And they don't have to be Butte County centric.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can think of a place in California, we'll keep it to California. How about that?
Right, sounds good.
that you wanted to highlight. So, are you ready? Okay, my list out. All right, here we go. Best tacos.
Oh, best tacos. That's a difficult one because I'm from Los Angeles. I mean, I'm Korean also, so
Yes.
Roy Choi comes to mind immediately.
Okay.
But that's he does the Korean fusion tacos.
Oh, where is
Yeah,
that?
that's
Where?
in Los Angeles.
Oh, in
yeah.
okay.
Right. But
Nice.
more locally, I would say there's a. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
No,
sure.
that's totally fine. That's fair. That's fair. How about best burger?
Best burger. I enjoy the Burger Hut
Okay.
over in Chico.
Yeah.
I know that my students love the burger place right down the street from here.
Down from here?
Yeah,
From the studio?
Yeah, here in
Jake's Burgers?
right around
Boss
the
Burger.
Boss Burgers.
Okay.
Right? They'd walk there for lunch.
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
had their burgers, but maybe I need to try it now.
Yeah,
Right.
they're on the roundabout
Right,
area.
right.
Yeah, I like the secret sauce there. Oh, I love it. So, okay, best local event.
I I like the Salmon Fest
Oh,
here in Orville.
yeah. Okay.
Right? I think that's such a really cool part of Orville
Yeah, that
I
is.
wish everybody in the area knew about.
Yeah, that's
And
in September.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And, just the migration of the salmon that come up this the river here
Yeah.
right next to us. I just wish everyone would go and witness
Yeah.
what an incredible part of life that is
It
in
is.
this area.
Like side note story, when James and I, when we lived in Seattle, they had this thing called, was it the locks? We would go and would go, it was very similar to the fish hatchery here, but we would go and boats would come in and out, and you could see the fish, and their migration pattern, you could see the fish up where we were, and it would go down to Orville and then go back up. I was like, oh my gosh, so these fish we're seeing here were ones we saw
No, it's
down
amazing.
the fish hatchery.
Right.
So cool. I love that. Okay, best breakfast.
Okay, so I would like to shout out to Orville, but I'm not as familiar. But
anywhere.
Mom's is
Yes.
really delicious.
Mhm.
And now that I think back on the burgers, the Bear also has some great burgers, right?
My daughter loves the peanut butter burger
Oh, is it?
from there. I don't know what it's
one.
called. Is it the peanut butter burger? Yeah, because for honor band, there's a band performance that happens at Chico State, and so they walk to the Bear anyway, and she gets this peanut butter burger from there. So
I'll try it.
I guess it's a good combo. I have had one, but it wasn't the Bear. But yes.
And going back to events, I really want to check out the theater here.
Oh the State Theater.
So yes, I that's one of the things on my list of things to do in Butte County.
Yeah.
And, so I can't say yes, that's my favorite, but that's something I want to do. Right?
No, well, I love it and we're, of course, encouraging locals and not so locals that are outside of Butte County to explore our beautiful region. So, okay, best high school. I don't know if you can answer this.
Right. I can't because since I can't answer that, I'll say LP in Orville.
No, you're in Chico though. We want to hear Chico. We want to hear some Chico lore.
My children aren't in high school yet, so I can't say.
Okay.
But they will be going to PV. Pleasant Valley, right?
Yes.
Right. But
would we? I think I took the SATs at PV High School.
Oh, is that right?
I actually can't remember, but we had to go to Chico to take those tests in high school. Okay, best music venue.
So best
not Orville. It doesn't have to be Orville.
Yeah.
It could be Butte County.
Right. So I really, when we first moved here, we loved the little plaza in downtown Chico where there would be fountains and, just the kids being able to just run around in the fountains and listen to music. And it's just a lot of fun,
They have a little amphitheater or
right.
That's cool. No, I love that. Okay, coming to the end. Best coffee. I didn't ask if you were a coffee drinker.
I am a coffee drinker.
Okay.
I really appreciate not just the coffee, but the experience of Stobel's.
Yes.
And so just an amazing building.
Yeah.
The amount of investment they put into 4 stories of a coffee place.
It's pretty cool.
Right. So I'd have to say that that's my favorite. Right.
They have a really great decaf too, which I know. I was on a decaf kick for a long time, and I subscribed to their service. They would mail you coffee, and I would get their decaf coffee, and they always had a little handwritten note in it.
Nice.
So I don't know if they do that anymore because they were a lot smaller back then. I know they've grown quite a bit, but I like Stobel too. Well, awesome. Yay. Yeah. Thank you for participating in our Gold Rush round. Cha, cha, cha. We need some sort of but a sound effect. Well, yes. Well, okay. So this next segment, I like to have, I kind of want to know what your golden nugget of wisdom is. So what is some advice? What's your best advice? Maybe thinking of speaking to, I don't know who your audience would be. Most people watching this are local, native to Butte County. We have some from across, the states. But I don't know who your audience would be. What's best advice to maybe
Yeah,
your students or to people watching?
I think maybe I would like to narrow it down to the teachers in Butte
Oh,
County.
yeah. Okay.
It's a difficult profession.
Mm.
It's so challenging. Teachers don't get enough respect and recognition.
Yeah.
And especially with the behaviors that in certain students. And so I want to, part of this is sharing to the teachers that maybe look past that behavior. I know it's difficult as a teacher to say that, to hear that and to do it. But maybe if we take that extra step, we might be able to unlock what's happening behind the behaviors. I know that's easier just to dismiss and say, "Oh, that's just a horrible kid," but maybe there's more to it. There's maybe they're hurting inside, and maybe again, looking at ourselves as teachers. So that again would be a message to the teachers: what's going on in your life? It's a stressful profession, but maybe we need to continue to look at what's taking place in our own lives to continue that journey of being available, like being present for our students as by being present for ourselves and what's happening.
That's so
in
good.
Our own hearts, right?
That's so good. Oh, I love that. See, I've got goosebumps so many times during this interview. Oh, thank you so much, Cedric. So, okay, this is this time to claim your gold. How can people reach out to you? How can they, what's the best way for them to contact you if they wanted to reach out or?
Yeah, no, I'm very active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And oftentimes I'm engaging in conversations and dialogues with AI thought leaders and education thought leaders.
Yeah.
And so as I do that, they're welcome to join in on that conversation.
Okay.
And much of it can be a debate and argument as well, because AI is very controversial, and I welcome that. It's not something I shy away from or afraid of. In fact, I encourage it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that goes back to your whole mindset around failure and whatever.
Right.
I encourage this.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I invite it for sure.
Yeah. I love that. So LinkedIn page, and send a message, or they can comment there and
join in the conversation.
Yeah, I love
send
it.
me a personal message. Yeah,
Perfect.
no, it's or send me a LinkedIn ad.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be your friend. All right.
I love it.
Wow.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you for having a heart of gold.
And thanks, Sheila McCarthy. Great induction mentor. Really amazing. She's so personable and taught me so much.
Sheila's amazing. Yeah, I'm hoping to maybe someday have her on here. So she's listening. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay. Appreciate it.
So we fail as fast as we can here so that we can learn from our mistakes.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't want to relive that. You keep bringing it up and I keep having to relive it.
I'm an open book. I had to put some notes down to okay, no, too much. Let me bring that back a bit.
We gotta talk more because I'm so bummed I missed your talk at Rotary, but this is good. This is better. I know. I was gonna say you might be ahead of your time.
No,